Okay. Good morning, students. Today we are going to revisit the topic of Friday's lecture, that is pumping lemma of regular sets. Okay, because it is a very important topic. Each and every paper there is 5 marks of question on pumping lemma of regular sets, where you need to prove that a given language is not a regular language. Okay, the question that is asked in the exam is that you are provided with a language and you have to prove that the given language is not a regular language. Okay, so this is the application of pumping lemma. Pumping lemma is used to identify that provided language is not a regular language. Okay, so what we have to, it is a 5 marks question and it is asked as a first question, compulsory question in the theory papers, or it is asked in the form of a notes like the last question. It is a theory question. And sometimes they ask you to prove the pumping lemma theorem and solve the problem for 10 marks. And that will be any particular question in between 2 3 4 number question. Okay. So have you understood? This particular topic is asked in each and every paper, which is the application of pumping lemma to prove that a given language is not a regular language. A given language is not a regular language. Means a given language के लिए we cannot draw FA, finite automata. And the capacity of the finite automata is less, so we need to have some other machine to recognize such kind of languages. Okay, so because it is difficult to understand the theorem, because of some mathematical issue, statements and theorem part of it, we will see that theorem again and we will solve the problems. Last lecture I have given you the introduction how to solve the problem by this pumping lemma. So for so so there are two parts of the question. First, you have to explain and prove pumping lemma theorem, and in the second part of the question, you need to prove or write down, like solve the problem. Okay, so is it understood? The learning objective for today is to understand the pumping lemma theorem and how the pumping lemma theorem is used to prove that a given language is not a regular language. That is the learning objective. Okay, I'll repeat this again. Today's objective is to prove the pumping lemma theorem and its application. That is, a given language is not a regular language. We have to prove that. Okay, so we'll solve two problems on this topic. And there are so many problems which are there. I'll submit your tutorial for pumping lemma on the classroom, and there variety of problems are there. You have to solve the problem by referring the problem that we solved in today's lecture. Okay, so I have simplified this particular topic as possible, because it is a mathematics and it can go up to PhD kind of research. And if you see on the books and on the websites, they have given it in a multiple complicated ways. Okay, so I have simplified it by taking the example, and so if you follow this particular lecture properly, you will understand the theorem. It's okay. You need to go through the lecture for 2 3 times. Okay, so let's see. Okay, let's revise. Pumping lemma theorem says that for any sufficiently long string accepted by a finite state machine, there is a substring in the beginning of the string that can be repeated or pumped as many times as you like, and still the string is accepted by FSM. Okay, now this regular set is a set of words. Regular set is a set of words which are created by following a particular grammar called as a regular grammar. Finite state machine ka language is called as a regular language. That language has a grammar called as regular grammar, And by following this grammar, if we create a set of words, and that set of words is called as a regular set. Regular set has two properties. Regular sets are the set of words which are formed as by following, or which are created by following the regular grammar. Okay. So you need to know the term regular set. Regular set is a set of words which are formed by following a particular language called as a regular language, or by following the grammar of that language. This regular set has two properties. The first property is that the regular sets are closed under set concatenation operation, set union operation, set intersection operation, set product, or set closure. Means if you are having two regular sets R1 and R2, concatenation of them is also a regular set. If you have two sets, regular sets R1 and R2, a union of them means either R1 or R2 is also a regular set, or set intersection is also a regular set. So like this regular set, it forms or it follows Boolean algebra. Similar to Boolean algebra, all the functions are there which can be operated on a regular sets, and the resulting set is also a regular set. Okay, so in one of the lectures we'll see in detail about Boolean algebra. In next lecture, maybe in the next lecture we'll see some of the problems of Boolean algebra with respect to the regular set. Okay, so right now what I told you is that the regular set is a set of words which are formed by following the regular grammar. And regular set has two properties. Regular sets are closed under set concatenation, union, intersection, product, and closure operations. Regular sets also follow a property called as a pumping lemma. What is the pumping lemma? Pumping lemma says that if there is any sufficiently long string, remember this diagram. Okay. Pumping lemma theorem says that if there is any sufficiently long string accepted by FSM, then we may have a substring in the beginning of the string which can be repeated for as many times as you like, and still the string is accepted by the machine. So I can say that if there is any word 10, then I can say that 1010 is repeated in the beginning of the string, and still the string is accepted by the machine. So it may happen. Okay. So this is the observation by them, the scientists. So you need to remember this. This is the most simplified statement about the pumping lemma. Okay. And pumping lemma is used to prove that the given language is not regular. It cannot say the language is regular, but it cannot. It can 100% says that a given language is not a regular. If it is not a regular language, then pumping lemma can tell you 100% perfectly that a given language is not a regular. It is not used to prove that the given language is regular, but definitely it can say that the given language is not a regular, that it can find out. It cannot find out whether it is regular, but it can find out that it is not regular. Okay, so this is something that you need to know. Okay, so to summarize, we can say that regular sets follow two properties. It is they are closed under set operations, and they follow pumping lemma. And pumping lemma is this: like a string accepted, a sufficiently long string accepted by FSM. There is a substring in the beginning which can be repeated for any number of times, and still the string is accepted by FSM. Okay. So now this is the theorem part or mathematical part to prove this particular statement of pumping lemma. Okay, so what you have to write down is that, like, these are the first three statements. Whenever you are proving the pumping lemma theorem, so these three statements are needed first, कि उसका properties दोनों, and then application of pumping lemma. Now the fourth statement that you have to write is that suppose the given language is regular. Okay, assume the given language is regular. So if the language is regular, it is accepted by DFA. And then suppose the DFA M is equal to Q sigma delta Q0F, where Q0 is the initial state and QM is the final state. Okay, so capital F is equal to QM. And there is a string A1 to AM. Okay, there is a string A1 to AM. So this is the input string A1, A2, A3 up to AM. Means your sigma contains the symbols from A1 to AM. Your sigma contains the symbols A1, A2, A3 up to AM. And we assume that if there is a string A1 to AM, and by processing this string, machine goes to the final state. Okay, so we are assuming that after processing a string A1 to AM, like here it is starting from A1, A2, A3 up to AJ and AM till AM. After processing this string, machine goes to the final state. We are assuming that. Now there is this yellow color assumptions are very important. We say that suppose the machine needs n number of minimum number of states to reach to the final state. So from Q0 to Qm, it needs minimum number of states that is equal to m, and that is equal to n. So we are assuming that there is a variable small n that is equal to minimum number of states to reach to the final state from Q0. And we also assume that there is a variable m that is the length of the input string. That is the length of the input stream. Like for example, here A1 to AM, what is the length of the input stream? This is A1 is the first symbol, A2 is the second symbol, and AM is the mth symbol. So here the length of the string is M. So we are assuming that if the length of the string is M and there are many symbols, so M is greater than or equal to N. That's what we are saying, that number of symbols are greater than minimum number of states that are required to reach to the final state. So minimum number of states that are required to reach to the final state, that number of states are less and number of symbols are greater than that. Okay, so that is the assumption. Okay, so let's revise what are the assumptions. We assume that the language L is equal to a regular language. So if the language L is regular, it is accepted by the DFA. DFA ka machine M is Q sigma delta Q0F. Q0 is Q0. Qm is equal to final state. And we assume that there are n number of minimum number of states to reach to the final state from Q0 to Qm. So we have a variable n, then we have the variable m, that is the length of the input string, that is equal to m, and the number of symbols in the m, number of symbols that is equal to m is greater than this number of states. So these are the two assumptions. So there is a string, uh, A1 to AM where m is greater than or equal to n, and the string is accepted by the machine. That means it is in the language M. The string is in the language M. Okay. So now so this is about fourth point. Okay. To write the fourth point, to write into the um, about this pumping lemma theorem in the exam, to prove the pumping lemma theorem. Okay. Now the fifth point is about assumption. Okay. What we say that suppose. Now suppose with each input symbol, if the machine transits to a new state. Now suppose with each input symbol, machine transits to a new state. Then what will happen? From Q0, from Q0 with A1, it will go to the state Q1. And then in Q1 with A2 symbol, it may go to the state Q2. So like this we are assuming. But we are saying na, ki number of symbols are greater than number of states to reach to the final state. So that means that many states are not possible. Okay, here it is important to understand. Okay, what we are, so this fifth point is very important. Suppose we say that with each symbol, the machine transits to a new state. So with A1, it may go to Q1, with A2, it may go to Q2, A3, Q3. Like this, if you keep on doing, you will have M number of states. But M is greater than N, and we are saying that minimum number of states required are equal to N. So this is not possible. So that means you cannot have m number of distinct states. It is not possible that Q1, Q2, Q3 up to Qm to be distinct. It is not possible to have all these m number of states as distinct states. At least two states will coincide. At least two states will coincide like this. That Qj is equal to Qk. Like suppose the string is Aj, up to that it will have the distinct state for every input symbol, and then for there can be a loop, and you are having two states Qj and Qk, such that they are nothing but same. They are nothing but same. Here, when you traverse here, you get the state Qj after a particular part of the portion of the substring. You are going to the state Qk, and you are getting two digits J and K in such a way that Qj is nothing but Qk. Means at least two states will coincide. More than two can also coincide, but at least two states will coincide. And then after processing, remaining string machine will go to the final state. Why this is? Because your number of symbols are greater than the minimum number of states that are required to reach to the final state. Okay, so if you're not understood, then let's see with the help of example. Okay, so what is there in this particular slide? The fourth statement about the language and the corresponding behavior assumptions, and minimum number of states are, I'm saying here, 3. And suppose the input string of length is equal to 5, so 5 is greater than 3, and then you cannot have 5 different distinct states. At least two states will coincide. That is about this particular slide. If you have not understood the point number 5, let's see with the help of example. Like here, see the example here. I have copied the same diagram here on the top. Now I'm taking the example like n is equal to 3. Suppose I say that I need 3 states to reach to the final state. And if I say that m number of symbols are needed, and m is equal to 5. So if m is equal to 5, I have the symbols a1, a2, a3, a4 and a5. Okay, I'm saying that I need 3 states to reach to the final state from Q0 minimum 3 states are needed. So like this, actually I'm saying that 3 states are needed, Q0, Q1 and then Q5. With these 3 states, machine may go to the final state. If I have total number of symbols as a1, a2, a3, a4, a5, so total number of symbols are 5. And suppose my string is a1, a2, a3, a4, a5. And if I assume that with each of the symbol, if machine is going to the new state, then this will happen. Like this will be the diagram. This is my assumption. Like I have a string a1, a2, a3, a4, a5. So if I am saying that if with a1 it is going to q1, with a2 it is going to q2, with a2, a3 it is going to q3. So total number of states I am reading here is equal to 6. But as per my assumption, I need only 3 states to reach to the final state as minimum number of states. And here I am getting the total number of states is equal to 6, which is greater than 3. So this is not possible. So at least 2 states will coincide. So I'll say that the state Q1 and Q4 will coincide. If they are coinciding, then the machine may traverse, and with A2 it may go to Q2, with A3 Q3, then with A4 it will go to Q4, and Q1 is nothing but Q4, and then with A5 it will go to the final state. Okay, so if I'm saying there are 3 states which are required to reach to the final state, and if my number of symbols m is greater than n, then there is a possibility that there are 2 states which will coincide with each other, and you cannot have m number of distinct states. At least 2 states will coincide like this. So here we are forming a loop, and we are saying that if there is any sufficiently long string like a1, a2, a3, a4, a5 accepted by the machine, then there may be a substring a2, a3, a4 in the beginning of the string, which can be repeated for any number of times, and still the resulting string is accepted by the machine. So here we are. You can follow the statement. The statement is that if there is any sufficiently long string accepted by the machine, so that means I'm saying here, if there is a string a1, a2, a3, a4, a5 accepted by the machine, then there is a possibility of having a substring. Substring is a2, a3, a4 in the beginning, mostly at the beginning, which can be repeated for any number of times. So any number of times means suppose 0 times. So if it is repeated for 0 times, then your string is a1, a5. It is going to the final step. If it is repeated for 1 time, then your string is a1, a2, a3, a4, a5. It is accepted by the machine. If this loop is executed for 5 times, then you will have the string a1, a2, a3, a4, a2, a3, a4, like this. This is for 5 times, and then a5, and it's going to the final state. So all the strings are accepted by the machine. So if you remember this both of these diagrams, you will be able to write the proper exam proof of this pumping lemma, and you can represent it mathematically. Okay, so what I'm seeing here is that I can find out find out two different numbers, j and k. I can find out two different numbers j and k, such that here in this example j is equal to 1 and k is equal to 4. So I can find out two variables j and k such that j is less than k. Okay. So we say that thus there are two integers j and k such that they are in between 0 to n. They are equal to and in the range of 0 to n. But the difference between j and k should be of 1, at least 1. J is less than 1, at least by 1. Okay, so j is smaller than k, and there is the difference between j and k is at least of one difference. And also we can say that once we get this j and k, we have two states qj and qk, and they are nothing but same. Okay, so that is the next point. Like here in the previous slide, we have total 6 points to write about this theorem. Now the seventh point that you can write it is that so with this particular scenario of m and n, we can say that there are two integers j and k such that j is less than k, and they are in the range of 0 to n, and qj is nothing but qk. And the path labeled a1 to am in the diagram is as shown in the figure, is as shown in this figure, where you have the substring a1 to aj to the left hand side, you have the substring ak plus 1 to am to the right hand side of the loop, and there is a loop of aj plus 1 to ak. So here it is in the form of numbers in this diagram, and here it is in the form of jk variables. Okay, so you say that the path labeled a1 to am is as shown in the diagram, like aj plus 1 to ak is a loop here. There may be a loop here. And the difference between j and k should be at least 1. And since k is less than or equal to m, this digit k is less than or equal to m, its distance from q0 is not more than n. The distance of k from 0, from this initial state, is not more than n. Actually, the distance of q0 to qm is n, because there are n number of states. So the distance of this k from q0 is not more than n. Okay, that is also the important concept. Like here, k is equal to 4, but its distance from q0 is 1. So this distance is less than n, where here n is equal to 3. So you can assume it is at the distance of 1, or it is, if you consider the nodes, then it is 2. So that is less than n. Okay. So this is the seventh point. Okay, so I think you have understood now. You are getting some idea about this pumping lemma theorem. Now, if you observe this particular string, you say that suppose you are saying your string is z. Okay, in this diagram, in this example, your z is a word, and z is equal to a1, a2, a3, a4, a5. Okay, so this is your word z. Now, with respect to this particular diagram, we can represent this z as u v star w. We can represent this z as u v star w. So I'm saying this left hand side part as u, this loop as a v star, and this right hand side as w. Or in this diagram, I can say that a1 to aj is u, aj plus 1 to ak is v, and v star hai. V star means it can be repeated for 0 times. Means it will not be there, or it will be there for many times. And then this right hand side is equal to w. So we can say that for any word accepted by this language is suppose z, then I can rewrite this word as u v star w, where in this example my u is equal to a1, v star is equal to a2, a3, a4 star, and w is equal to a5. So that I have written down here, that u, v and w are this as per this example. And then I can, if you observe this, the length of UV, this length A1, A2, A3, A4, ये जो length है यहाँ तक का UV, this length means this distance from the state Q0 to reach to the final state is less than or equal to 3. See, if you see this edges, then the distance is 1, 2, 3, and 4. So you don't consider that distance. The what is the meaning of this UV magnitude is that to reach to the final state, to reach to the final state. So the magnitude of UV is this 1 and 2, 1 and 2, because it is the second node. This is the first node, second node, and third node to reach to the final state. These are the minimum states which are required. If these states are not there, then also the machine will go here to the final state. So here the magnitude of UV is nothing but 2. This is first step, second step, and third step. So the magnitude of UV is less than or equal to 3. That is the meaning of this particular statement. Okay, that is less than or equal to 3, and the magnitude of V is greater than or equal to 1. At least it can be 0 also, or it can be greater than or equal to 1. Okay, so this is also important to remember, because always we need to write our mathematical statements with respect to this particular understanding. So what is this understanding? Suppose there is a word Z accepted by the machine, that is A1, A2, A3, A4, A5 accepted by the machine. We can divide this word Z into 3 portions: U, V star, and W, where my U is equal to A1 and V is equal to A2, A3, A4 ka loop, and W is equal to A5. So up to this, so it is easy to understand. Now you see that the conditions here are the magnitude of UV to reach to the final state. So magnitude of UV is this, like this U and this V. So the magnitude of UV is equal to 2 to reach to the final state. And then with one more string, it will go to the final state. So magnitude of UV is nothing but 2 here, which is less than 3, total number of states. And the magnitude of V is at least, it should be, it can be greater than or equal to 1. Okay, it can be greater than or equal to 1, means at least one symbol should be there here. Okay, so you need to remember this, both the things. Okay, so I think it is now you are having some understanding about this. If you have not understood any simply you interrupt me and ask me the questions. Okay, so now we'll have this diagram. With respect to the diagram, now how to write this pumping lemma theorem. So we conclude from all this discussion, what we can conclude is that suppose this QM is in final state F, means your QM is equal to Q5 here. This QM is the final state. And suppose you are having a string A1 to AM in the language, means A1 to AM is accepted by the machine. Suppose if it is there, if your QM is a final state, and if you are having a string A1 to AM accepted by the machine, then you can say that A1 to AK, A1 to AJ, and AK plus 1 to AM is also in LM. Okay, just refer the diagram, previous diagram. Here, this is the left hand side part, A1 to AJ, and then AK plus 1 to AM. Okay, so we are ignoring this loop. So we say that if A1 to AM is the language, is the word of this language, then we can say that A1 to AJ and then AK plus 1 to AM is also the word of the language. So that's what is written over here. If your QM is the final state and if A1 to AM is the word of the language, then A1 to AJ, and here AK is not mentioned. AK plus 1 to AM is also in LM. So what is meant by that? That the loop J plus 1 to AK is executed for 0 times. Okay, so this string is also in LM. Okay. So if this string is also in LM, then we can assume our assumption of new state ka. Like so with the after processing from Q0 to AJ, machine will go to the state QJ, and then from in QJ it will get the string AK plus 1 to AM. Now QJ is nothing but QK. So replace QJ with QK, and QK with AK plus 1 to AM is QN. So then we can say that this is going to happen. Okay. So that is what is mentioned in this particular diagram, that with A1 to AJ it will go to the state QJ, and then QJ is QJ may it has to process AK plus 1 to AM. So QJ is nothing but QK. So QK में AK plus 1 to AM को process करके it will go to QM. So so that's what is written down in the form of mathematics over here. So then you need to write down this. Okay. Then similarly, the loop, like if it is U V raised to I W format, if this loop can be executed for any number of times and still it is in the language of M, for I is greater than or equal to 0. So we can rewrite this is also true, and the another statement is also true. What is the another statement? A1 to AJ, and then AJ plus 1 to AK for I number of times, and then AK plus 1 to AM. This particular string is also accepted by the language. So what we are writing, like we are writing in terms of IJK values and explaining this. This is the example which I am just telling you to understand this particular concept. Otherwise, everything is in the form of JNK when we are providing the proof of pumping lemma theorem. So in that case, what is your first statement is about this particular string with the loop executed for 0 times. And the second statement is that loop is executed for I number of times. So here loop is executed for I number of times. So that means we have proved, no? That means we have proved that given a sufficiently long string, there can be a substring AJ plus 1 to AK raised to I that can be repeated for any number of times and still the string is accepted by the machine. So here we are saying that we have proved the statement. And then this is the actual definition of pumping lemma. So so you need to write in each and every problem. Out of your 5 marks, 2 or 3 marks are there to write down this particular proof or these statements. Okay, so this yellow color with blue text is very important. So what you have to say that after proving this, that the pumping lemma theorem is, if L is a regular set, then we can have a pumping lemma constant such as small n, and if Z is any word of the language, then if the length of Z is greater than or equal to n. So now here we are talking n as a what I was saying is that n is the minimum number of states required to reach to the final state. That was equal to 3 here, like as per this diagram. So that n we are calling it as a pumping lemma constant. So what this pumping lemma theorem says that if there is any regular set or L is equal to regular set, there can be a pumping lemma constant small n, and if Z is a word of the language, then then the length of the Z is greater than or equal to n. If the length of the Z is greater than or equal to n, we can view this Z as UVW. We can view this Z as UVW, where the magnitude of UV is less than or equal to n. This magnitude of U and V to reach to the final state is less than or equal to n, and the magnitude of V is greater than or equal to 1. At least it should be equal to 1. Then for all I is equal to greater than or equal to 0, U V raised to I W is also in L. Okay. So this you have to write down all this red color ka, to examiner will see that whether you are writing this UV and V ka condition or not. So the marks are there for this particular important concept. Okay. So here we are assuming now L. Now I think it is easy to understand. L is a regular set, N is a pumping lemma constant, Z is a word, Z can be represented as UVW, where UV ka magnitude is less than or equal to N to reach to the final state, and V का magnitude is greater than or equal to 1. At least ये step 1 का होना चाहिए इसका length, and U and V का length is less than or equal to N to reach to the final step. Then for all I is equal to greater than or equal to 0, we can say that U V raised to IW is also in L. We assume that UVW is a part of the language, but we can say that UV raised to IW is also the part of the language. And this is the observation of the scientists who worked in this particular field. So this is the first part of 5 marks of proof of pumping lemma. Okay. So now if there is any question in the exam, the question can be there for the 10 marks. If the 10 marks question is there, they will say that explain what is pumping lemma and prove that the language is not regular. So if you have, if it is for 10 marks, 5 marks are there till this particular proof. Then next 5 marks are there to prove this particular example. Okay, all the examples are having same kind of working style or showing that it is not a regular language. So I'm taking this example. You have to follow the same method for other problems. All the problems are of similar kind. Okay, so once you understand this problem, you can write the or you can solve any other problem, but only you need to just observe the string, and with respect to the string you will have to just do the little bit adjustment about your words Z. Okay, so if you understand this problem, you should be able to solve any problem. Only how to write the answer is difficult here. So you need to remember that pattern of writing the answer for this particular question. So I have created a sample answer here in this slide. You can note down that and solve the same other problems with the same style. Okay. So first step is about defining the pumping lemma. This is must. Okay. इसको ज़्यादा marks है, 5 marks में से 3 marks तो इसके लिए ही है. In this definition of pumping lemma, you say that for any regular language L, there exists an integer n, that is pumping lemma constant, such that for all Z belonging to this language, with the length of Z is greater than or equal to n, means m. We are talking about m here. Okay, what I'm saying is that if there is any regular language L, there exists a pumping lemma constant n, such that if Z is a word of the language, the length of the Z, that is equal to n number of symbols of Z, distinct symbols of Z, greater than or equal to m, n, then there exists UVW from sigma star such that Z is equal to UVW and UV is less than or equal to n and V is greater than or equal to 1. Now if you observe 1 and 2, we can say that for I is greater than or equal to 0, UV raised to IW is also in L. Okay, that means the word UV raised to IW belongs to capital L. So in simple terms, this means that if there is any sufficiently long string accepted by the finite state machine, there is a substring in the beginning which can be repeated for as many times as you like and still the string is accepted. And then you say that pumping lemma is used to prove that the given language is not regular. If the language is regular, then it follows pumping lemma. Both the statements are same. Pumping lemma is used to prove that the given language is not regular. Also say that if the language is regular, means if the language is regular, it should follow the pumping lemma. Means every regular language will follow the pumping lemma. Okay, so this is common for all the solutions. Every problem of pumping lemma, you need to write down the step 1. It is like a definition of pumping lemma. ठीक है? Any doubts in this? If there are doubts, ask me. Then in the step 2, this is also a very important step. In the step 2, I have written down in red color the important statement. Now, how to prove? So you assume that actually ये language regular नहीं है, A raised to n, B raised to n. So कैसे करना है उसको prove? So you say that assume that the language is regular. Okay. So we say that assume that the given language is regular. So if this language is regular, it should follow pumping lemma, है ना? So when we are writing the proof, we have to say that the given language is regular. If it is regular, it will follow the pumping lemma. That I am assuming. Now in step 3, you have to prove. So assume that suppose there is a word z for a raised to n b raised to n for n is equal to 3. Take any number, any value of, now this n and the pumping lemma constant n, they are different. Both are different. For this word a raised to n b raised to n, I'm saying that suppose n is equal to 3. So then I'll say that my z is equal to uvw, that is equal to 3 a's and 3 b's. Here what they are saying, number of a's should be equal to number of b's. So I'm saying that 3 a's and 3 b's, and this word is in the language L. Okay, so it follows, it is following the rule. This triple A, triple B is following the rule of A raised to N, B raised to N. My language says that A raised to N, B raised to N type of string होना चाहिए. Means number of A's should be equal to number of B's होना चाहिए. That is there. Number of A's and number of B's are same, and after A's, B's are there. So this is a valid word of this language. Now, if my Z is equal to triple A, triple B, I'll say that I'll divide this into 3 portions. Now you can take multiple cases. Initially for the first case, this is case number 1. In the first case, I'll say that u is equal to small a. So I'm taking this small a as u. Then I'm taking this double A as v. And then I'm taking triple B as w. So for this z, I'm taking this a. I have decided u, v, w. You can decide anything, whatever you want. So for the first case, you take 2-3 cases and prove it. That for every case, it is not a regular language. So finally concluded that it is not a regular language. Okay. So U is A, B is double A, and W is triple B. Then we say that as per the pumping lemma theorem, if the string is U, V raised to I, W, it is also in the language L. Okay. So I'm rewriting this U, V raised to I, W as like this. That A, double A raised to I, and triple B. So I'm saying that double A can be repeated for any number of times and still the string is belonging to the language, because I'm assuming that it is a regular language. So it will follow the pumping lemma. So now if I say I is equal to 0, then my resulting string will be A triple B. But A triple B word is not as per this rule of this language. Language says that number of A's should be equal to number of B's. So if my V is there for 0 times, then I'm getting this string A triple B where number of A's and number of B's are not equal. So there is a contradiction. Now in the second case, suppose I say that this V is repeated for 2 times. Then I'm getting a string A and then V repeated for 2 times, double A for 2 times, and then triple B. Again here I'm getting 5 A's and 3 B's. So number of A's and B's are not same now. So there is a contradiction. If I is equal to 3, then I'm getting A, the U part, and then double A for 3 times, and then triple B. So number of A's and B's are not equal. So there is a contradiction. So in the case 1, I have taken the left car double A's as V. Now you can try in the case 2 that AB from this particular string, AB as V. So your V is U is equal to double A, V is equal to AB, and W is equal to double B. And then this AB is repeated. If AB is repeated, then your strings will be double A, AB, double B. Okay, which will not be there in the language. Okay, because number of A's should follow number of B's. So like this, you can take case 2, case 3, and take 3 cases. But I'm taking 2 cases only in this particular example. So in the case 2, I'm taking for n is equal to 3, I'm taking my V as the out of this triple A, triple B, I'm taking this B as a single B as V. So if this single B as V, then U V raised to I W is also in L, and then I'll say that triple A B raised to I. If I is equal to 0, then I'm getting a string as triple A double B, where there is a contradiction. Or if I is equal to for 2 times, then I'm getting 4 B's and 3 A's. Or if I is equal to 3, then I'm getting 5 B's and 3 A's. And number of A's and B's are not same, so there is a contradiction. So we can conclude that our assumption of L as a regular set is not right. So we can say that L is not a regular language. So this way you need to explain it. So for other problems, always identify the word. This up to this particular step two, the answer is same for all the questions. And then for the step three, you just see the word belonging to this language, and you decide about U, V, and W, and prove that there is a contradiction. Okay. So this way you need to solve the problem. Okay. Now all the problems are of same type, but there is only one exception, one different problem. So if by chance that problem is there in the exam, you can prove it by using some other method or by using some mathematics. So I'm taking that problem in the second example. Here this example is that you have to prove that the given language that is equal to 0 raised to I square. See, I cannot write it here properly in the slide. The meaning of this is that 0 raised to I square means 0 raised to I raised to 2. मतलब I square, 0 for I square times. Okay. So I have defined it as a cap. 0 raised to I square and prove that it is not a regular language. So as I told you, define that there is a language L. So you have a pumping lemma constant N such that your Z belongs to L and the length of Z is greater than or equal to N. This length of Z is nothing but M of our proof. Length of Z is greater than or equal to N. Then there exist three variables UVW in such a way that Z can be represented as UVW, where UV magnitude is less than or equal to pumping lemma constant N. Magnitude of V should be at least 1. And for all I greater than or equal to 0, if UVW is belonging to this language, UV raised to IW is also in the language. And then in the English format, you write down the pumping lemma statement and say that pumping lemma is used to prove that a given language is not regular. So we can say that if the language is regular, it should follow pumping lemma. Then in the step 2, you assume that the language is regular. So if it is regular, it will follow the pumping lemma. Now identify the property of this language. This language is a language that consists of all the strings of zeros whose length is a perfect square. So what are the valid strings of this language? Because it is 0 raised to I square. So if your I is equal to 0, number of strings, the valid word is equal to 0. Or the valid word is equal to 4 zeros. Means this is 1 square. 1 square or 0 square. Then 2 square. Then 3 square. So the length of the string is 1. 1 square is equal to 1. Or 2 square is equal to 4. So it is 1 or 4 or 9 or 16 or 25. So it is a perfect square. So that's why you need to identify this. The language consists of all the strings of zeros whose length is a perfect square. The length of the string is a perfect square. Okay. So that we have identified and we are writing it. The language is the language where number of zeros is equal to perfect square. The length of the string is perfect square. So you assume that that means your magnitude of UVW, length of this UVW is equal to N square. This language, because it is given in the statement. But अपना pumping lemma theorem say we can say that UV का magnitude is less than or equal to N and UV का magnitude is greater than or equal to 1 as per the pumping lemma theorem. That's what I'm writing. Now you see this both the statements. So if you see UV and V ka statement, we can say that that means if we consider only V, so that V is less than 1, V is greater than 1, greater than or equal to 1, and it is less than or equal to N. Okay. If UV is less than or equal to N, only V is also less than or equal to N. So we are just removing this V, U from here. If UV ka magnitude is less than or equal to N, we can say that V is also less than or equal to N. So I'm rewriting it like this. And for UV raised to I, W is in L for all I. Okay. So now this is the equation. You see this first part, first equation now, UVW is equal to N square, which is given in the problem statement. So this n square है ना, so what I'm doing, UVW is nothing but n square. So here in V, I'm adding this left hand side. That V is equal to V plus, here in this case V plus V UVW. So in this equation there are three parts: left, middle part, and right part. Everywhere I'm adding this UVW. UVW इधर add किया मतलब बीच में, and then but UVW का magnitude is nothing but n square. So with respect to n square, I'm just rewriting it. 1 plus n square is less than or equal to V plus UVW is equal to n plus n square. So I'm rewriting it by using the first equation. Then I want to remove this equal to sign. So I'll say that if I'm removing this one, then it will become less than. With 1 it was equal to. So I can rewrite this as n square is less than magnitude of u plus UVW is less than or equal to n plus n square, but that is nothing but n plus 1 bracket ka square, say less than, because n plus 1 ka bracket square is n square plus 2n plus 1. So we can rewrite this as with respect to less than sign. Again we can rewrite it as n square is less than I'm removing this v, so it is also less than UVW is less than n plus 1 square. So now with this particular equation we can say that UV square W, because this can be repeated for any number of times, we can be repeated. So that can also lie in between n square and n plus 1 as n plus 1 bracket square. So if this is true, then your string, if it is repeated for 2 times, uska jo length hai, that is in between n square and n plus 1 square. So it is not a perfect square. So there is a contradiction. So what we assumed in the beginning is not true, and the language U V square W is not in L. So our assumption was not right, and so it is not. So here by using some mathematics only we are proving that if we repeat a substring in then it will not be a perfect square. Okay. So like this also you can, for this particular problem you can use mathematics to prove that the resulting string is not a perfect square, so it is a contradiction, so it is not a regular language. Otherwise, for all other problems other than a raised to n, b raised to n, which are asked in the exam, for every problem you can take a word and then decide about UVW and say that if V is repeated, then the resulting string does not follow the rules of the language, so it does not belong to L, and then there is a contradiction, and because of that it is not a regular language. Okay. So I think now you must have got a proper idea. Okay. So as the time is getting over, we'll stop for today. Any doubts in this now? Okay, so it is a very important topic of pumping lemma, um, which is asked in each and every exam, and solve at least 4 or 5 problems on pumping lemma. I'll upload the tutorial on the classroom, and by referring this particular way of solving the problem, you write it at least once or twice so that you don't forget about it. Okay. So we'll stop it here for today's lecture.